Tell me, Gordon, when does it all end, huh? How many yachts can you water ski behind? How much is enough?
It's not a question of enough, pal. It's a zero-sum game. Somebody wins, somebody loses. Money itself isn't lost or made. It's simply transferred from one perception to another.
Isn't the show going to be on Apple TV?
Correct.
And I think Apple TV is worth about 5 times as much as Exxon. I think Apple's price, since the stimulus began, Apple's value has gone up by about $1.2 trillion.
Right.
That's $4,000 for every American, just in increase in the value of Apple.
You just made my point for me.
Do you feel that Apple is somehow gouging or doing something wrong?
Yes, of course.
So,
and Exxon is, and Mobil is.
So let's talk about Apple. Let's talk about Apple. Do you think Apple should just sell phones for less and not have enough phones? What would you have Apple do?
You're saying to me, John, market forces are market forces. And if demand goes up, are you suggesting, young man, that Apple should charge less than they could charge? Let me flip that on you. When there's a tightness in the labor market, what you're saying is the workers shouldn't do the same. That the workers, just following the same capitalistic principles that allow Apple to charge more for their phones, shouldn't charge more because wage inflation is driving inflation.
That's not at all what I'm saying, John.
That's exactly what you're saying.
Actually, it isn't. Every worker should get as high a wage as they can. It would be a terrible idea.
But the Fed is going to intervene. The Fed is going to intervene to make that not possible.
No, the Fed is intervening to control the overall level of demand growth.
And what will that do to? And what will that do to the labor market?
Much faster.
What will that do to the labor market? What will it do to the labor market? It will loosen
likely to lead to
looser labor markets.
A somewhat looser labor market.
Exactly.
We hope to minimize that consequence.
Let me begin this way. Is capitalism credited with growing the wealth of the world that it has been the dominant system in for the last 300 years? I think the answer to that question is unambiguously yes. Capitalism is a system that develops wealth. It's not surprising that it does, since it's a system focused on doing exactly that. The competition among capitalist enterprises, the market, these are institutions that require you to grow wealth, to produce ever more. That has been the history of capitalism. It is a driven system, and it has therefore resulted in growing wealth. But that is in no way unique to capitalism. Wealth in Europe grew dramatically during the feudal period. Wealth in Europe grew dramatically earlier, during the slave period, and I could go on, both in Europe and in other parts of the world. Various systems have been variously successful at growing wealth. And it is clear that for each system, depending on the specific circumstances, sometimes wealth grew quickly, sometimes wealth grew slowly. In capitalism, wealth sometimes grows quickly, and at other times it grows slowly.
You're what's wrong with America, Simpson. You coast through life, you do as little as possible, and you leech off decent, hard-working people, like me.
Capitalism is the possibility of creating wealth through hard work, creativity, and luck. There has never in human history been a system that has provided this set of possibilities to the poor. Unlike feudalism, communism, and theocracies were and are built on the foundation that the poor stay put to never threaten the ruling order. Thus, only capitalism allows for upward mobility. Basically, capitalism is the best system for making everyone wealthier. The problem is that wealth gain is an exponential curve, not a straight line. That means that if you make everyone wealthier, the disparity between the poor and the rich necessarily grows too. If everyone gains 10%, that means somebody who has twice as much is also gaining twice as much.
Once I see this candle...
The reason capitalism works is unfortunately also the reason it seems to aggravate the problem, or in the case of wealth disparity, actually aggravates it. Capitalism fundamentally requires exploitation no matter what safety net you construct. Profit comes from employing people for a fixed wage that's less than the value of what they produce, and pocketing the difference. The hard part is maintaining the balance between the two without falling to one extreme in the long run. Once regulations start, it's hard to undo. Therefore, as time goes on, less fair areas may be unjustifiably regulated by the same legal proceedings that regulate other sectors. If a good man regulates for a good deed, it's only a matter of time before an evil man regulates for an evil deed. People who are mad about capitalism are generally specific, mad about problems inherent to capitalism, such as the continual concentration of wealth or the exploitation of workers.
Actually, my bathroom bowl's cleaning itself.
That can do everything they can do, and do it all.
Has this ever happened to you? Are you tired of constantly getting stuck? Well, we have something just for you. Introducing the brand new product, The Door 2.0. See how easy that was? Order now for only $99.99 and start enjoying your life stuck-free.
The Phantom, exterior like fish eggs, interior like suicide wrist rags. I could exercise you, this could be your phys ed. Cheat on your man, homie.
What the?
Congratulations, sir. The simulation is a success. The product is fully stabilized and ready to go.
Good. Tell the science team to start the manufacturing right away.
Unfettered capitalism, which is what most people mean when they are pointing to the problems with capitalism, is accurately being blamed as the fundamental issue for the American states, where unfettered capitalism has led to a situation where the top 1% owns $26 trillion and the bottom 99% owns $16 trillion. Where just this weekend, taxpayers may once again be footing the bill for banking regulations being rolled back, leading inevitably to a banking failure, where there is almost no social safety net for healthcare, making it the #1 cause of bankruptcy. This question makes it sound like poor, embattled capitalism is being unfairly maligned for the problems of the average citizen. It's not a catch-all when it is, in fact, the actual problem. Also, the fact that it's much harder to climb up from the bottom than from further up is a universal rule that extends far beyond any political system or humanity or even biology. We're talking about a fundamental principle of distribution. There is no way any other political system could fix this without making it worse. That is, you can always achieve more equality by making everyone poorer, for the poor. At least in capitalism, there's a small chance to come out of poverty, and even smaller chance to get rich. Well, yeah, illiterate people will never be as rich as the people who know how to read. Similarly, financially illiterate people will never be as rich as people who understand economics. Back in the day, less than 1% of people knew how to read. Then the printing press was invented. Today, pretty much everyone on Earth knows how to read. The solution to the inequality wasn't to burn books, it was to teach everyone to read. And reading is tricky at first, but it's easy enough that every kid can learn it. The same thing applies to financial literacy. Economics isn't taught in high school, and very few people take it in college. That means the few people who understand it have an enormous advantage over those who don't. This creates massive inequality. But it's not that hard to learn. The internet has made capitalism accessible to everyone just like the print press before it. You can't win a boxing match by just standing there. You have to dodge, block, and punch back. If you want politicians in a democracy to listen to you, you have to at least vote. That's the bare minimum. Better yet, you need to speak up, lobby or advocate for your views, bribe or donate to politicians you like, and even run for office yourself. Lots of citizens have learned how to play democracy, but far too few know how to play capitalism. America is built on liberalism, which means democracy, capitalism, and individual liberties. If you only understand democracy and liberties, but not capitalism, you're on a stool with 2 legs. All games are only fun if everyone knows how to play. Democracy and capitalism spread out money and power to the maximum number of individuals. But if you're not holding up your end of the bargain, then not only are you going to lose the game for yourself, you're going to make the game less fun for the winners too. NFL teams want to outcompete other excellent NFL teams. Fans want to watch the highest level of the game. It's not fun for anyone if an NFL team stomps on a high school team. Similarly, democracy and capitalism work best when your opponents are really smart. You're competing with them. but in the process, you're creating the best possible combination of ideas. If someone else's idea is better than yours, you want to lose to them. Netflix killed Blockbuster, but by then capitalists sold their Blockbuster stock and invested in Netflix instead. Now everyone in society gets to see movies while wasting less oil just to transport physical discs around the world. No one is ever going to ditch capitalism. The Soviet Union collapsed. China and Cuba have become more and more capitalist over the years. Reddit's socialist favorite, Norway, owns the Norwegian Oil Fund, the largest investment fund in the world. The only approach going forward is to learn how to play capitalism too. Luckily, it's pretty easy to learn. The hard part is ridding yourself of comforting ideology first. It feels better to say some rich villain is cheating you than to admit you're losing because you don't understand the basics of economics, finance, accounting, etc. But life is much better when you take a few weekends to learn it in the next video.
So that I conclude that capitalism per se is not humane or inhumane. Socialism per se is not humane or inhumane. But capitalism tends to give free rein, much freer rein, to the more humane values of human beings. It tends to develop a climate which is more favorable to the development, on the one hand, of a higher moral atmosphere of responsibility, and on the other, to greater achievements in every realm of human understanding. Thank you.